We're all acquainted with the dangers of drunk driving, right? Well, now drug-impaired driving is a growing problem. In fact, a nationwide study found that more drivers who died in accidents tested positive for drugs than alcohol. KBOI2's Haley Kramer is live in Boise. She spoke to local safety officials about how drug use is making our roads even more dangerous. Haley?
Here in Idaho, alcohol is still a much larger factor when it comes to impaired driving crashes. But according to the Idaho Office of Highway Safety, those involved in drug driving, the numbers have increased steadily every year.
They may not be feeling the effects, but it does affect their response time, their ability to judge things properly. We're seeing an increase in those DUIs.
Drugged driving can include prescriptions like opioids, marijuana, or other drugs. Trooper Jonathan Whittick says often it's the medication someone has been taking for a while, or a new medication they've been prescribed, and they don't quite recognize the effects.
Maybe they're crossing over a center lane, coming into oncoming traffic, and they don't think it's as major as they feel, but it does. Just a little bit over that center line could cause crashes and could cause injuries and even fatalities.
Nationally, in 2016, about 44% of drivers killed in impaired driving accidents tested positive for drugs, a jump from just 28% in 2006. That's higher than the nearly 38% of alcohol-impaired fatalities in 2016.
Drugs is a little bit harder to determine just because with alcohol you have the odor of alcohol coming from the person or from the vehicle, where with the drugs you don't have that odor unless they have marijuana in the car at the time.
That makes it harder to figure out if someone is driving under the influence. So he says troopers have to rely on behavioral signs during field sobriety tests.
Their body language, we're looking at their eyes, we're looking to see how they're reacting to different situations, how they're responding to us. Are they getting confused in the questions that we're asking? Are they forgetting what we asked them?
But they say the behavior isn't really different from that of a drunk driver.
We'll still do a breathalyzer test to confirm that there's no alcohol in the system, and then we call a drug recognition expert, somebody who's trained in different tests and things to determine if they have drugs on board and which specific drug or which type of drug that is.
The GHSA says how someone responds to a certain dose can be hard to predict, and the presence of a drug doesn't always mean impairment. But when it does impair the driver, the dangers are the same.
Make sure you wait an appropriate amount of time before you get behind the wheel so that your system can process that to get it completely out.
Whether it's alcohol or drugs, safety officials stress it's extremely important to stay off the road if you may be impaired. Live in Boise, Haley Kramer, KBOI2 News.